March 14, 2112. The earth shook. Alarm sirens blared through the air. The largest waves first hit the coasts of Japan before swallowing the entire land. At first glance, it looked like a natural disaster. A tsunami with a force unmatched. A gruesome, yet unfortunately familiar sight. But at the same time, those scenes were also happening in all other parts of the world. The water, which appeared as a mixture of blue-gray and dark-red colors, destroyed the city structures and buried anyone who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. If the concentrated force of the waves was not enough, most people died from lack of air or because they were crushed by cars or other objects. But as quickly as the tsunami came, it seemingly disappeared just as fast. In a moment, the earth was enveloped in a cloak of blood-red water, and in the next moment, it was relatively dry again. Only the flooded lakes and puddles reminded us of the tragedy. However, the survivors soon had to realize that they had changed along with their new world. Whether they were caught up in the floodwaters or drank contaminated water afterwards, the result was the same. Their bodies began to transform in pain. This was not a natural event, not the price for the damage the people caused, not just a whim, but a planned attack by human hands. The influential Dramer family, whose roots went far back, fulfilled their dream of a unified world under their leadership. They flooded the world's ocean with their own blood. It had the ability to transform anyone who ingested it into a lower subject of their kind. The weakest became mindless ghouls. The noblest and most powerful became their equals. Vampires. Only 30% of the world's population managed to protect themselves before the sudden transformation. These survivors are still outnumbered today, but they are far from defeated. At first, it was just a desperate fight, delaying the inevitable, until the people met the lymphatic gods, and with them, the solution for cleansing the contaminated water. Vampires, like humans, and even some infected animals, use the power of Dramer's blood to execute powerful attacks and tactical maneuvers. Vampires and other infected beings can use it naturally thanks to their mutations, while humanity had to develop special weapons and armory that allow them to store blood for later use. The common people of mankind have barricaded themselves in underground cities to live in some measure of safety from the vampires. Here they have a limited supply of groundwater sources that have not yet been contaminated by the Draemor blood. To keep these intact, they built elaborate aqueducts and cleaning systems, the power supply of which is of the highest priority. The world on the surface has been trapped in an endless night since the vampires took over. The sun has faded due to the actions of Draemor, and time seems to be frozen. Fog and soot obscure the few rays of light that still reach the earth's land. Cold winds tug at the branches of withered trees, and broken mutants wander aimlessly through the abandoned cities. Only the vampires live in prosperity and have taken the place of humanity as the dominant species. The most powerful of them, led by Hrunrich Draemor and his children, founded the overarching Blood Circle. They reside in opulent castles and grant a few people a peaceful life under their rule in exchange for blood. But in their vanity, they did not consider how much they were changing the entire planet, and that there were numerous other living beings beside humans whose reactions to the changing blood they had never sufficiently researched. They had the capacity to do so, but it took several millennia for them to perfect the transformations of humans. The Blood Circle also faced new dangers in this world they controlled, dangers they created themselves, dangers that could possibly mean their downfall.